Hey guys, I'm Mihir Joshi and welcome once again to MJ on Record. I'm here at Adagio and I've got a very special guest for today's episode. As you can see, I've got U2's album, The Joshua Tree. That's the album that we're going to be focusing on in just a little while. And now, the interesting thing about my guest today is the first time I ever made a video and put it up online on any digital platform. I did it with this man. In fact, the first unofficial episode of the MJ show in a video format was with the guy who's going to be sitting with me right now. He's a very dear friend. I know you guys like him very much as well. You've loved him in Rock On, you've loved him in Sacred Games, you've loved his music. He's been in the music space for the longest time. So welcome on MJ on Record, the absolutely fantastic fabulous to have you back here, man. I was just telling all of these guys, I was just reminiscing even before I came here today. This was about 7 or 8 years ago. You came to my house. I was living in BPCL colony back in the day, and we recorded the 100th episode of my blog. So I used to do a blog which was primarily text and YouTube videos. So I used to do what I would do on a radio show. So everything I would have talked, I used to write it down. And the songs I would have played on radio, I used to put it up as video links that people would click on and see.
That was quite a marathon session. I mean,
we sat for 6 or 7 hours, man. Like, he came over.
It was like the best of the MJ
MJ show for the first 99
episodes.
So you picked one, I picked one, you picked one, I picked one. And that's how we had like 100 songs that we discussed.
It was great fun. It was a
good
afternoon.
That was a good afternoon. But since then, there's so much that's happened in your life.
Absolutely.
And in mine. And it's great that I've finally getting you back. We've been talking about getting you on the NJ show also for the longest time, which we'll make happen eventually. But today we're going to be talking on this new thing that I've started, a show called MJ on Record. A pun, of course, because we're going to be talking about a really cool record.
Yes.
And today I thought, let's pick an album that I know you'd be really fond of. I know you have this is a CD box set, by the way, and I know we're going to be talking about the vinyl and showing you. In fact, you know what? You'll get a very good idea of an exact comparison between what a CD artwork would look like vis-a-vis an album artwork in vinyl format. So, this is an album, one of the most incredible albums by U2, an album called Joshua Tree. Let's start out with your thoughts about this. When was the first time that you heard this album? Let's show people, everybody, what's inside the album before we get your thoughts. So, it opens up, it's the gatefold, see that's what it's called, right?
Yeah, the gatefold, yeah.
And
this, I think, was a picture taken out in the desert in Las Vegas, where they go, the Joshua Tree. It's a rite of passage for a lot of rock and rollers, and generally for a lot of college kids studying in California as well. Also,
they all
to go out into the desert, do the Joshua Tree thing, go out into the desert, trip on acid. I mean, Jim Morrison did it, and everybody in UCLA does it at some point in time. But it's a rock and roll thing to do. So I guess you did that as well.
These guys did that as well. This was their 4th album, if I remember correctly. 4th or 5th album? 5th album. Yeah, Unforgettable Fire was the 4th one, and this was the 5th one.
That was Boy October War,
Unforgettable Fire, and then this one, yeah. And okay, by the way, on the other side, there are the lyrics of all the songs on side A and B. And let's get the LP out as well. Let's show you guys what that looks like as well. So here it is, the Joshua Tree LP. A very simple, just the logo of the Joshua Tree over here. And of course, when you listen to the album, you'll know why everybody considers this one of the greatest rock and roll albums of all time. In fact, let's first talk about the first time you heard the album. When did you discover this album?
I think around about when it came out.
Okay.
But before that, I had already listened to U2 by way of my dad had a friend who lived abroad, and he would record these top 40 shows, and would then bring the cassettes, and then that's what I would listen to. So I'd be listening to these top 40 charts from some part of the world, and on that there was a song called Unforgettable Fire, which was Unforgettable Fire. Yeah. And I remember being really kind of like intrigued by the sound that I heard. Yeah. Because I was listening to all the other 80s pop.
Correct.
So there's Michael and Madonna and all the kind of stuff that was coming out of the UK top 40 and the British top 40. And in comes this song, Unforgettable Fire. I said, okay, this sounds like an interesting band. And then that was it.
Correct.
Then after that, it was the era of music videos,
Right.
and again friends would record music videos on VHS
Right.
abroad, and then they bring it back, and then we rent the VCR players to watch it.
This was what, 80s somewhere?
This would be
Mid 80s?
This came out in 1987.
1980. So you were actually
this is the same year the
experiencing.
Bad came out actually. So Michael Jackson, Bad, and then U2, Joshua Tree.
Okay.
And I think it was also the year that Madonna's Like a Prayer,
Exactly,
came
like
out.
a prayer had come out.
So all these magic albums came out between 87 and 89.
Wow, okay.
And it was like a beautiful time for popular music per se, and also where all these genres came together.
Right.
You had
What were
Irish
you
band
doing at that
theatre.
point in time?
I was still in school.
Still in school.
Yeah, I was still in school.
And you were still experiencing all of this stuff pretty much, because this was a time when, like you guys have right now, you couldn't just go online on YouTube or on Facebook and just search for the song that you want and immediately get it.
All this conversation might be, you might not have the relevance to the millennials or even to the what's the generation after the millennials call it. Actually, the millennials are still in the analog generation. You know what I'm saying?
Social media generation or something X something.
Yeah.
What was it?
X.
Generation X? Okay. So
Yes. Okay, whatever.
The Generation X boy who's been sitting behind the camera has just told me that.
But actually, Generation X was Billy Idol's first band.
Oh yeah.
With Steve Stevens. But yeah, that was Generation X.
Sorry, you were saying. So it's
that
not
was the
relevant.
first time and then there were these compilation tapes that would come out, which were these Malaysian pirated recorded tapes.
Correct.
Everybody had TMT tapes.
Correct.
And on that there was one song called With or Without You. And then I was listening to that song and I said, oh, this is the same band that I heard on Fire By Fire. With or Without You. Oh, what a song. And all that kind of stuff was washing over me. And then the album got released in India.
Correct.
And then I bought the album, and then of course it just played back to back. At that time it was audio cassettes before the CDs came in. So it was side A, side B, side A, side B, side A, side B. And I listened to it on loop.
I can imagine.
It was an absolutely new sound.
Yeah.
It was absolutely fantastic songwriting.
Correct.
And it completely blew the roof off everything that I'd ever heard.
Absolutely. I mean, I think 3 of the songs that are instantly identifiable as U2 classics are the first 3 songs on side A, where the streets have no name, I still haven't found what I'm looking for, and With or Without You. These 3 songs, like if you don't know any other song by U2, you definitely heard them because they are always playing on popular radio even today.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, these 3 songs for sure.
I mean,
but
any retro place, any retro club that you go to.
yeah, one of these songs
With
is
or Without You
definitely
has to
playing.
play.
With or Without You has to play.
Yeah.
Or even Where the Streets Have No Name.
Oh yeah, of course.
I still haven't found
Because
what-
Where the Streets Have No Name is more up tempo. It has the really
Up-tempo.
dance, running beat, what they
Correct,
call it.
correct,
So
correct.
it's good to dance to as well. Also, and then it's anthemic.
Correct.
So everybody likes to suddenly raise their fists and yell.
Yeah.
So in fact, Ed Sheeran took a page out of that song by when he made Castle on the Hill.
Oh yeah.
So it's in a similar
vein. Yeah,
It's in
yeah,
a similar
yeah,
vein.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like anthemic,
And
moving forward,
that thumping kind
positive,
of
thumping
beat.
beat,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
that the infinity guitar kind of thingy, that like a ching kind of
Yeah.
thing going. So it was all that.
How cool was that? Like, for a band to create a sound which is instantly identifiable with that band, like the guitar playing that.
Absolutely.
Like when Strings, the Pakistani band came about, everybody was
They took a
basically
page out of
they
Edge's,
basically took a
yeah.
page out of Edge's book. So that
Very influential.
very influential, very
Yeah.
influential.
Yeah.
So when you heard this album, With or Without You was the first song that you heard because of that compilation tape that you found.
And I was experiencing these songs just as I was not even that evolved socially. Right, so I'm just listening to it as a music listener, as a kid growing up listening to all the pop music, dancing, getting out there doing the breakdance thingy.
Right.
It was the Michael Jackson era and the Madonna era and the pop era and the baggy pants and all that kind of stuff was happening. And then comes this band, and I don't even know what the seriousness of the songs are.
Okay.
And now when you look back today and you read up on the songs and you realize, a lot of them are talking about really, really
Deep issues.
terrible issues that were happening in the world at that point in time.
Correct.
I mean, Where the Streets Have No Name is about people in Ethiopia. So it's really, really deep, this kind of stuff.
No, absolutely.
Red Hill Mining Town
Red Hill
is about during Margaret Thatcher's regime in the UK,
Right.
when all the miners were on strike and she refused to budge, and a lot of them were completely destitute and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting to see that even though U2 wrote an album that became so popular,
Right.
and it had such great radio airplay value,
Correct.
it's still a great, it's not even, not a protest album, but it's still a great socially conscious album.
Very, very much so. And
It's not just songs about love and having a good time.
yeah, it's I think, and they've kept that ever since, right? I mean, they've always wanted to write
because
songs.
of the social backdrop that they're coming from. Ireland
Ireland.
has been that kind of a country for the longest time.
Correct.
I mean, with the famine and with its politics and so on and so forth.
Correct.
So when you grow up,
Yeah.
you take that with you.
Right.
But at the same time, you're also opening up, a whole new world is opening up to you.
Correct.
I mean, the U2 toured America with this album like never before.
Correct.
They were touring
Platinum,
America,
right. That was the...
and then which resulted in
Platinum,
which was their experiences of touring with the
America,
Joshua Tree,
with Joshua Tree.
which is amazing.
Which is a phenomenal thing. So you know what? Listen. So I was looking at before I came here. I picked out my CD box set, which was also a fantastic box set to have, and it has this beautiful booklet inside, which you can see over here. Just got the little Joshua Tree logo in here. And I was reading up the introduction by a gentleman called Bill Flanagan. Do you know who Bill Flanagan is? Maybe something to do with, I'm assuming he's somewhere either with the label or somebody, or maybe a journalist who wrote something. And while everybody knows the three songs, the popular three songs that we just mentioned right now, which is Where the Streets Have No Name, I Still Haven't Found What I'm Looking For, and With or Without You, there's a little paragraph that he's written about Running to Stand Still and Bullet the Blue Sky, which I thought was really, really cool. It kind of gives you an idea of how much thought process went into writing the lyrics on this album. And right after that, there is a passage that has been written by Bono as well, which I'm not going to get into. But if you ever get a chance to find this book somewhere, or if you find an opportunity to get this box set, I definitely recommend it, because I want you to read this. Okay, check this out. So it says, Running to Stand Still and Bullet the Blue Sky, these became two songs that became the centerpiece of countless U2 concerts. One is a whisper, while the other is an explosion, and together it demonstrated how deep U2 were prepared to go. Running to Stand Still was inspired by an epidemic of heroin use in Dublin. The story in the song is of a couple who decide to risk everything on a big drug deal. They pretty much know going in that they don't have a chance of coming out. And Bullet the Blue Sky is about the American-backed insurgency that was happening at that time to try to overthrow the leftist government in El Salvador. And Bono and his wife Ali got caught on the edge of a firefight during a visit to Central America. He came back with the idea for that song, an indictment of US power turned against its neighbors. Famously, Bono asked Edge to put the war through his amplifier. How cool. Just think of that line. He told Edge, put the war through your amplifier. It was, and then I heard those two songs on my way here in the cab, and I was just blown away, man. These songs, they're going to stand the test of time. We're going to be, and in fact, the very next line, what he says is, what makes those songs stand up 20 years later is that you don't need to know any of the history of Running to Stand Still, of either of the songs, and Running to Stand Still is still relevant for anyone who feels trapped in an impossible circumstance by overwhelming responsibility. And Bullet the Blue Sky is as true in Iraq as it has been in Bosnia, Chechnya, Rwanda, Darfur, or any of the places that are experiencing war, especially American-backed war, as the song was when the song was written for El Salvador.
I think you can add that experience to any kind of situation that you're in as a social individual, where you're not allowed to probably express yourself,
right,
or you're not allowed to say the things that you'd really like to say for fear of, oh man, forget about it, let's not unnecessarily take पंगा, as we keep saying here when living in this country of ours. छोड़ना पंगा मत लेना यार, होने देना जो होता है.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, it adds to that as well also. I mean, there's relevance in that as well also.
Right.
So I mean, it's the same situation everywhere, regardless of what the politics or the or the economics might be.
Correct. So you know what? Of all of the songs on this album, if I had to ask you, is there a song that you really, really love? And okay, you know what? Most often, and somebody who's a genuine music lover, if you ask them their favorite song, they say that the song varies depending on the mood and where you are at. But if you had to pick one, what would it be?
Well, that's going to be a really, really difficult task, because
have a look at all.
I used to. So when I do tribute gigs and things like that for artists, one of the things that I add as part of the whole tribute thing is to play an album in its entirety.
Right.
So when I did a Nirvana tribute with my band, I played the whole Nevermind album in its entirety.
Right.
Same thing I did with Prince. I did Purple Rain.
Right.
What else did I do?
You did a Michael Jackson tribute.
I did a Michael Jackson tribute, and I did the whole Thriller album
Right.
in entirety. So I've always wanted to do U2
wow.
as if I ever did a U2 tribute concert, I'll definitely play the whole
of Joshua Tree.
The whole Joshua Tree, because I mean it's and I play it backwards so that I end with Streets Have No Name.
Yeah,
which is what I did with Nevermind.
Very
so that we end with Smells Like Teen
Smells
Spirit.
Like Teen
Because
Spirit.
it's like such an anthem, right?
It's the
and for an
most
anthem to
iconic song.
open an album and then after that it all goes. If this album, it starts on a bright note and it ends on a very, very dark and depressing note.
That is true.
If you really, if you follow the trajectory of the songs.
Right.
But yeah, see, the popular songs are what they are.
Right.
Streets Have No Name and Still Haven't Found. And for me, Bullet the Blue Sky still has a great relevance.
Yeah,
because I think Bono put his heart into writing those lyrics.
Yeah.
And it's. In fact, recently, when U2 released their last album, Songs of Innocence, I did a whole listening session where I listened to the full album and gave my little, comments on it.
Nice.
And then we did a radio show as well, also where I was asked to choose, offhand what song. And the first song that came to mind from Joshua Tree was Bullet the Blue Sky.
Bullet the Blue Sky.
Because
How good.
it was one of the most un-U2 songs
Correct.
on a U2 album.
Right. Very
So,
good. Okay.
so I guess,
So
when
Bullet
the
the
howling
Blue
winds come
Sky.
to stinging rain,
Yeah, man.
see the flames, see the burning crosses, the flames higher and higher. Bullet the Blue Sky. Brilliant. Just great lyrics.
Great lyrics, great songwriting, absolutely.
And on Rattle Now, when he does it,
yeah.
he goes into a little bit of a rant and he says, "Am I bugging you? I don't mean to bug you." Okay, yeah, just play the blues. And then it goes into a guitar solo on Bullet the Blue Sky.
Yeah.
It's just fantastic.
In Rattle and Hum, there's also a DVD or a.
It's a movie.
It's a movie. You can find the concert film. Isn't there a bit where they jam with BB King and that?
Yeah, when Love Came to Town.
When Love Came to Town. That's the song. And I don't remember it exactly because I have a terrible memory. But you guys should check that out. I'm sure that song and the little prelude to that song where they meet, where Edge meets with BB King and Bono meets with BB King. There's a little story that happens over there, and it's phenomenal. And BB King, they something along the lines that Edge says, these are the chords. He's like, I don't know any chords. I don't remember any chords. I'll just play. Just let
me. Comes in.
Yeah.
And then
magic
he
happens.
comes in and plays it, and it's just
It's just phenomenal.
I was a sailor. I was lost at sea.
Yeah.
I was something till love rescued me.
Yeah. What an amazing song.
I've
Right?
done, but then I did what I did when
Love Came to Town. Really great song.
Great song.
So you know what? One thing that you mentioned while you were talking about the tribute gigs that you've done is you've talked about the fact that you've taken an album in its entirety and played it. I think one of the main objectives of this new series that I've started is to let you know that especially the younger people watching in right now know the joy of listening to an album uninterrupted, where you're not letting the music or somebody who's made a playlist for you dictate what you're going to be listening to, but you've actively taken the choice of going to your collection, if you have one, or even if it's a digital way, if you're going to listen to it on a digital platform, choosing an album and then spending that time listening to the songs from the start to the finish, because you're basically getting into the mindset of that artist, of that band at that particular point of time in his life, and you are exploring everything that went through his life at that point in time. What makes an album listening even more interesting, and I'm sure you'll agree that's what we did as kids, is when you get the album and then you take out the booklet from the album and then you sit down, and then maybe some of the albums have information about when it was made and stories behind some of the songs. Even if it's not that, if it's just the lyrics, and you listen to the album and you're reading the lyrics along with it, you're invested in that band at that point of time, right? I mean, you're spending time with that band. You're giving that band the respect that they deserve for the music that they've created, especially on iconic albums.
And plus also, at the end of the day, don't forget that no matter how big the artist or how big the album or how obscure the album, that artist has particularly made that music for you as a solo listener.
Correct.
And that artist is reaching out to you as a solo listener, as an individual.
Absolutely.
Not like I've written this song so that 100 people or 2,000 people or 20,000 people can listen to it at the same time.
Okay.
No. I've written this song so that you can listen to it on your own, in your own mind space.
That's true.
So that's exactly what an artist tries to do when he or she puts out a piece of creativity, whether it's music or poetry or film or whatever.
Yeah.
It's made for the individual, one person at a time.
One person at a time.
So the least that you can do is give that 3.5 or 4 minutes or 45 minutes, if you choose to listen to the full album in its entirety, to listen to a product that's created for you.
Absolutely.
I mean, how amazing is that?
How amazing is that? And you know what? Throughout this series, I'm going to bring interesting albums and interesting conversations like this, which will hopefully give you maybe a playlist of sorts of albums, not songs, of albums that you can put in your list. Like, okay, I'm going to listen. So make this album, this week the album. Wow, I can't believe I can't get this one sentence out. What I'm trying to tell you is, this week choose U2's Joshua Tree as the album that you will listen to throughout the week. Try it out for a change. Instead of listening to a playlist of random songs chosen for you by some random person, pick this album, put it on your, if you have an LP, nothing like it. Sit down with it and experience the joy of, listening to one side and flipping over, listening to the other side. But even if you can't do that, whatever way you listen to music, just listen to the album, have the lyrics open in front of you, spend the amount of time that, fans like us have spent on this music, listening to the songs, thinking about what was this guy writing about, what was he talking about, and I'm sure you're going to have a great time. And you know what, once you do that, in the comments of this video, write to us. Tell us what you thought about the album. Tell us which was the song on the Joshua Tree that meant the most to you, which was the song that really caught your attention. Like, I did not expect him to say Bullet the Blue Sky would be one of the songs that he really loved most on the album, because in my head, everybody would probably choose one of the top three, those super hit songs of U2. So I'd love to know what you guys think. Maybe you will say that your favorite song is Red Mining Town or in God's Country. And it's got some fantastic songs, not just the 3-4 songs that we spoke about today. So yes, please write back to us. Both of us will check out the comments, and hopefully we'll have engaging conversations with you here on social media as well. So before we wrap up for today, where can people find you on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram?
Yeah, all straight. Luke Kenny Live.
Luke Kenny
Facebook,
Live on everything,
Insta, and
right?
Twitter. Yep.
Right there.
So,
Follow my man Luke Kenny, and we'll give you his information down here so you know what to look out for. Also want to give a big shout out to my partners Adagio and the Revolver Club. Awesome spaces. Both of these guys are doing some phenomenal things to keep the music alive, in my opinion, in Mumbai and all across the country. So yeah, check them out, Adagio and the Revolver Club. I'll give you some information to both of them down here as well. And before we leave, and before I get you back on the MJ show to talk about everything that's happening,
yes,
I have to ask you, what's the next big thing that's coming out from your end?
Well, season 2 will come out.
Season 2 of Sacred Games
July,
will
August.
come out.
So watch for that. I mean, there's a whole campaign that's going to break really soon, and that's going to be really interesting.
Man, I can't wait to watch that. I think
It's
everybody
fun.
fell in love
Yeah.
with Sacred Games.
Absolutely.
When it came out, it was like
then
this.
Then there's Inside Edge season 2, which is coming out.
Are you gonna be in that too?
I'm in that a bit as well. Also.
Oh,
So watch for that as well.
So in fact, just a couple of days ago, I had Neha Dupia and Angad Bedi on my show,
Okay.
on the MJ show.
Nice.
So he was in season 1
Yeah,
and
he's
he's in
there.
season 2 as well. Looking forward to checking that out
That'd be
as
nice,
well.
yeah,
That should
interesting.
be fun. You also, what was the other show that we spoke about that you did on the other digital platform? Last Smoke, right?
Smoke is out on Eros now.
Eros now.
So you can watch that as well.
You can watch that.
That came out last year.
Yeah, that came out last year, and a lot of people, I've not really seen a crazy amount of buzz on that. Maybe because Eros now also did not really push it a lot. Maybe you wanted to edit
The
this out.
mysteries of
Yeah.
low budget marketing.
I was just saying maybe you want to edit this out, but fuck it, don't edit it out. Check out
But
that
having
show.
said that, I mean, for those of you who would have gone and seen Kesari with Akshay Kumar,
Right.
that was a story about a really important event that happened in Indian military history. If you want to watch an extended look at that particular story and those characters, you can go and watch 21 Sarfarosh.
21 Sarfarosh,
which is on Netflix as well also. So that's the entire proper history of how all those events played out, which happened in Kesari. So
Oh, very cool.
it's an interesting part of Indian history and the Indian army history when India was part of the British Army. So I mean, it's a story about a great courage and a great battle. Right, 21 Sikh soldiers fought off 12,000 Afghan invaders.
Oh, wow, man.
So it's really important to remember that history of ours as well.
At the risk of sounding incredibly stupid, why did you mention this? What did that have to do with Smoke?
No, it's just what all that I've done that you can watch.
Oh! Okay, sorry. I'm just trying to figure out. Like, I'm trying to understand. Okay, my
मेन्यू
bad.
कार्ड खोल ही दिया है तो बस पूरा बताइए।
बिल्कुल यार, सब कुछ सुनना है।
क्या खाने का
Of course, of course, of course.
हमारे तरफ से।
Okay, so here, now I feel stupid because I did not know he was in that, and I'm trying to
I
figure
thought you
out. नहीं मालूम था यार. You do so many things, and we're meeting after such a long time.
That's also true.
So today listen. This is going to be a candid, fun show with my friends, people whom I have known for a long time, and I'm admitting that, and he will admit that there is a fair amount of ignorance that we may have about each other's lives. There's another way to reconnect, and now after the show shooting is over, we'll sit chat a little bit more so that the next time we chat.
So let's not reconnect on camera.
And let's not reconnect on
But they don't want to watch the
camera.
reconnection in that. हो गया Joshua Tree finished.
Joshua Tree ho gaya. But you know what, listen, I just thought, we'd, I'll also let you guys know all the cool stuff Luke is doing. And please follow him on social media. Check out Sacred Games season. I don't need to tell you that also. You guys are going to definitely watching the shit out of that.
Give signal over.
नहीं हाँ उसी नहीं नहीं मैं अभी खत्म कर रहा हूँ.
Why you stop talking about Joshua Tree?
खत्म हुआ ना जॉशुआ ट्री का बात
अच्छा,
करके.
okay.
अभी जॉशुआ ट्री का खत्म हुआ, अभी लुक केनी का बात
खत्म
करेंगे.
नहीं हो सकता Joshua Tree.
कभी खत्म नहीं हो सकती. तुम लोग देखो, तुम लोग सुनो ना जॉशुआ ट्री, तुम लोग बताओ तुम लोगों को क्या लगता है जॉशुआ ट्री के बारे में.
I thought you're gonna wait till we talk about Joshua Tree till he gives you the signal.
नहीं नहीं वो तो हो गया अभी. सो नाउ यू हर्ड अबाउट जॉशुआ ट्री, यू हर्ड अबाउट लुक केनी, यू हर्ड अबाउट मिहिर जोशी, अडाजियो, रिवॉल्वर क्लब. That's pretty much all the time we have for us. It's the most abrupt ending for any episode that I've ever done in my life. But you know what? I can do that because I'm sitting here with a dear friend. Thank you so much, Luke, for taking time.
My
out
pleasure.
to
Thank you
come
very much,
today
Mihir.
and chatting with me. This is pretty much all the time we have for now. This is Luke Kenny. I'm Mihir Joshi saying bye bye.